Kyler it is.
Because I used the respin to get rid of the Cardinals.
The
That's
wheel is telling you.
atrocious.
Look, this wheel is telling us that the Cardinals are actually going to have a really good season this year. So we should just pick up all of their players. Cardinals and the Raiders are clearly going to have the best seasons. That might even be the Super Bowl right there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Feast or Fumble. I'm the real Kris Mac. I'm here with my guys, my consiglieres. I don't know if I said that right, but Mr. Patty Puts, Mr. Chino. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing good, Chris. How you doing?
Not so great. Not so great. Had to watch that Knicks loss last night, so it was a little tough. It was a little tough, but we're gonna talk about it today. First topic on the docket: reaction Game 6 in Indiana. Knicks looked like I don't know. It's seeming like anytime they take that flight to Indiana, they're jet lagged because they come out and they get just stomped by the Indiana Pacers. Sean, what were your reactions to the game? What'd you like? What'd you not like?
So first and foremost, I think two things really stand out about the likes. I've said this before on here with you all about like adjustments and how Tibbs does a great job of doing those adjustments when needed. And I think he made it. He's made a good adjustment with starting McBride. It lets us. It gives us the ability to control the pace earlier, rather than if we started a Chua, it's kind of like that. We're not going to be able to run the floor. We're not going to be able to put pressure on defense as much because we got one less guard. The other thing I really like, even though he started off slow, like again, this just speaks volumes of Jalen Brunson and why he's that guy. He started the game off really bad, and then he turned it up. He said, "All right, I gotta be better for this team." And coming out at halftime, he started balling, and ended up what he ended up with over 30 points. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those are the two things I like initially. Pat, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. Deuce McBride stepping into the starting lineup was a huge adjustment, and it was absolutely necessary. He put up 20 points in a lot more minutes than he's used to playing. Obviously, we saw the Josh Hart injury, so that 20 points was huge for the Knicks. Unfortunately, with last night's game, there wasn't a whole lot to like because, like Chris said, we got off the plane and we kind of got smacked around a little bit. So Deuce played terrific, in my opinion. I thought he played better than Halliburton most of the game. And then Halliburton screaming in his ear about the too small gesture. Enough of that. You're screaming at a basically backup point guard, and you're supposed to be the superstar. You better step up, Halliburton. But good for Deuce. I think he's going to have a great career with the Knicks, and I think he's just going to get better and better with more experience, especially come playoff time. What do you got, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it in our like group chat a little bit. You touched on Halliburton a little bit. I'm not super sold on him. Like, I think he's a good player. I don't think he's like a great player. So shout out to Deuce because he's kind of making him look a little bit average. I mean, if he wasn't like 6'6" and able to shoot over Deuce on pretty much a consistent basis, I think it would be more of a discrepancy with like his output during games. Phenomenal passer, but as far as like scoring the basketball, I don't think he's like that guy yet, especially like in these big moments. But we're gonna see coming back Game 7 in the Garden. One thing I did like the fact that our rotations were pretty solid. I like that Deuce and Precious both got very like quality minutes. Now, the Josh Hart injury, something that I didn't like too much. I mean, he definitely got like gut checked early on in that game, which I think really did impact the game because it kind of hampered him throughout. He wasn't even able to finish the whole game, and Siakam just kind of like took advantage of that situation and looked like he took a time walk back to like his Toronto days when they won the chip in 2019. But Yeah, I did. I definitely think we got off to a slow start. It wasn't as big a glaring, blowout win like it was in what was it, game four. But yeah, it definitely some things we need to work on going into game seven in the Garden. What is it, Sunday? I think yeah. So we're gonna see if we can respond to the call. So far in this series, the home team has won every game. So it bodes well for us being able to close out the series. I kind of wish that we were able to close it out in Indiana, but it is what it is. Any other
Yeah,
thoughts?
to your point, kind of, there's definitely a few things I just didn't like about how the game went. I think at the end of the day, to your point about the, didn't look as bad because score wise, I think at the end of the day, and I said this to you all, I said this to you both, like, we just couldn't put a run together. Like, it's like, we'd make a couple baskets and then they'd hit like a dagger three, or we'd make a couple baskets and Turner would go down the lane and just dunk. Like, we just couldn't put a run together. And then once they got to a certain point, a certain lead, it was just like, all right, Hart, now he's out. He's out the game. He's not going to play. And then that's when Jalen was making his run. Like, he started on the offensive side, like making buckets, but we couldn't get any stops. Like, literally could not get any stops. So that's a part of why the game looked like it did. But yeah, the injury to Hart is concerning. I know whether he's 100% or not, he's going to play the next game. But how much is he going to give us? And we all said this, like, he's the X factor. Like, we need him, and it showed. Like, if you look at statistics, like all our starters were a negative plus minus. We had no answer for Siakam. He had 25, 7, and 5. All the Pacers starters shot 50% from the floor, and had at least 6 rebounds. And that's a big part of Hart. Like, he bangs on the boards. We were out rebounded 47 to 35. And one thing I just hate, just free throws, man. Like, we shot 70% from the free throw line. We missed 8 free throws. Like, we're getting the opportunity to go to the line, and that's what we do. But gotta hit those free shots, right? And that's, you look at how much we lost by. Closer game if we hit those free throws, right? So those are my concerns. I think and again, we're talking about a game where we just haven't played well in Indiana. And this shows. So we'll see when it comes to the Garden. Pat, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm totally with you guys. I agree with every point that you made pretty much. The big thing that stands out is obviously that Josh Hart injury. It happened fairly early on in the game, and then if you watched him, the rest of the game, he's rubbing it constantly. He cannot jump. He cannot stretch out in an awkward way. He was just not right. So, like you guys mentioned, he is crashing the boards at every opportunity. And if he's not jumping up and getting those boards, then unfortunately the Pacers were kind of dominating. So that really, really hurt us. And the thing I'm worried about is if he's not healthy, we are running out of bodies. The rotation is so thin right now. We're asking Precious and Burks to play minutes that they're probably not quite ready for. And to their benefit, they're playing pretty well. Precious had a really good game last night, but we need it on the defensive end. We need it on the boards. And unfortunately, that's where we're lacking a little bit, and that's where Hart was kind of perfect. So thank God Game 7 is at the Garden, because if not, I would be incredibly nervous. But I'm still looking forward to this game, and I think the Knicks will come out on top.
Yeah, I think this game seven is gonna be rocking. We already seen like all the games in the Garden, the old Knicks guard. Like I don't know if any NBA team has more former players come to like current games than the Knicks do. Like I literally saw Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Marbury, Mello. Like the list goes on and on and on, and they're all in support of this team because like it represents like teams of old and just like how they were constructed, grindy, gritty, very like defensive oriented teams. To your point, Pat, I'm very concerned about the Josh Hart injury. The good thing is it's not anything like lower extremities, like legs, like OG's hamstring. So, hopefully the hope is like you get in the pool, you get back, get some therapy on it today, and then you be ready for game tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, you guys said it. That's definitely like something I didn't like. Like we were definitely running out of bodies. Like and not just bodies, because like we got guys, G League guys that we got sitting at the end of our bench that aren't gonna like do very much. But like as far as our firepower goes, like we're losing guys that like are able to put up production. Josh Hart is like the best rebounding guard in the NBA. Period. Point blank. Period. So like losing him when we're already like I think like 4 or 5 inches shorter than like every other player on the Pacers is like, you got to make up for that with like hustle plays. So the fact that we're a shorter team, the fact that we're losing like our main glue guy who hustles and crashes the boards, I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie, but as long as number 11 is still there, there is always a chance that you know we're gonna see a show. And I still hold true to this. Like nobody on the Pacers can guard Jalen Brunson. Period. They're throwing doubles at him all day. They're putting Nimhar on him. He's getting put in a blender. Neesmith is is kind of disrupting him a little bit, but I think he's kind of figured that out a little bit. To your point, Sean, he still had 30 points in this game. So it don't really matter. Once he gets going, he's pretty hard to stop. So
yeah, and to that point, and again, we can talk about what the adjustment's going to be because obviously Hart's not going to either way. Hart's not going to be 100%. So whether he plays or not, there has to be an adjustment made. And I go back to what I said to y'all at the end of the Sixers series, like win or go home at this point. I'd run the same play every single time down the floor. And is it going to be tiring? I think Brunson's going to have to play every minute of the game, and that's what it's going to be. High screen roll every play. I don't care. Like that's it. I know there's times where they deny him because what the Pacers really do well is on made baskets they full court press immediately. So like they're going to deny him, but we're get him the ball no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like figure it out. And screen and roll every single play until they stop it. And they can't stop it because no one can guard Jalen Brunson. So that's going to have to be the adjustment because there is no other adjustment. I don't see Tibbs, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see Tibbs letting anyone else off that bench get minutes. Like, there's no potential.
No.
Like, Alec Burke was it. That was it. That was the sole option of if we had to give somebody minutes, that's who we're giving. Because Shake can't do it. Only thing I would see maybe him doing is running around guarding somebody to, maybe running after Halliburton for a good period of time. But outside of that,
I mean,
we got to stick to what we got.
he might give Sims like some spot minutes at center, but like that's maybe.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him at all.
No.
I'm sorry.
He's a little bit more of a defensive stopper than Precious is right now. Jericho Sims is as at least athletic, so he might be able to stop people at the rim. Precious does get some block shots, but he's not quite making the impact that we would like to see, like a Mitch or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I was off on Sims like when he did that whole half court thing. He stopped half court. Like, dude, it's like 4 feet. Just like go across the half court line. Like, come on, seriously. He just kind of like looks lost out there at times, especially like on the offensive end. And like, I don't care how athletic you are, if you can't like pick up an assignment or just be like a rim stopper like on a good day, then there's no point of you being out there. Other than to like give somebody else like Hartenstein some rest or give like Precious some rest, because like these two guys are at least making an impact. I'm not too hard on Precious because I think he's done the most with like the time that he's been given. I mean, if you look at like the Sixers series, he came in and played really great in like game, what was it, 3 or 4, and then literally didn't see any play for like 2 straight games. So, and same with Alec Burks is like, shout out to both of them because like they were buried on the bench. And to then just be, have Tibbs call their number and they're being productive players. Like, I don't think we're in a lot of these games if Alec Burks is not, at least shooting at the clip that he's shooting at. So we're definitely getting production from guys that didn't necessarily crack the rotation during the regular season.
Who starts if Josh can't play?
Yeah, it's just scary because Siakam with Precious on him is just pretty dominant. So that's just scary going into a game
Uh,
seven if he has to see him a lot.
I mean, I think that would actually be not a terrible matchup. They're pretty similar, like size wise. Precious is pretty, long pause on that, but he's a big defender, wingspan. I think he could disrupt a lot of what Siakam wants to do, especially like he was literally doing like spin moves in the paint and just like getting to the basket around Josh Hart. Now, mind you, if Josh was 100%, he could kind of mitigate that a little bit, but we're talking about 6'4" versus like 6'9". Like that's just it's hard to ask a shorter defender to just consistently stop a guy that has that much height advantage on you. Um, yeah, I think Tibbs might have to go. Um, I don't know. Do you still stick with McBride starting, and then
Have to.
yeah?
Have to. He is a pest on the defensive side. Like him, and this is it. Like the game plan has to be sticking to him guarding Halliburton for the entire game, full court,
Mm-hmm.
literally, because it annoys Halliburton.
Right.
The only issue is if we're gonna do that, we have to step up against the other. Like we can't let others beat us.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what we talked about in the Sixers series. Like we'll let Joel go off. Like we knew that we let that happen, but we can't let anyone else beat us.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like as long as we don't let anyone else go off, we're good. Like Obi Toppin should not be having more than 10 points in a game. I'm
Or
sorry.
who's the one dude coming off the bench? White kid.
TJ, yeah,
Yeah.
the fire
Yeah,
starter.
he can't like there's no reason this guy should have double digit points whatsoever.
He's quick change of pace. He can get to his spot, hit the mid range, and he's a hustle guy.
He reminds me of like that old dude that like you see at open gym that like you look at him and he can't play. He's got like the dad shoes on, but then like he comes out and he drops 30. Like and it's not even like flashy. It's just him doing like the most bare minimum of basketball moves. Like, oh, pump fake, spin, layup, like nothing crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about him.
he's the perfect complement, Halliburton, though. Just as far as an energy guy off the bench, plays excellent defense. He's a pest. He absolutely is, and he hits the mid-range jumper like nobody's business. So he is a solid player. He is very, very frustrating and annoying sometimes when he's on your best player. But I think Jalen Brunson could get the better of him too. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Just Brunson has to do his thing.
Yeah. True. We just gotta, like I said, can't change anything with McBride. He has to stay in the starting lineup. He has to stay guarding Halliburton for the entire game when when they're both on the court. And then again, offensively, it's just high screen roll with Jalen, whoever it is. And I had a feeling like in the third quarter when folks started getting into foul trouble, I was like, all right, this is the moment. Like the moment we need to make a run. But again, like I said earlier, we just couldn't put that run because they ended up hitting the big three. Then it just like, all right, damn.
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do? So
I think that's gonna
we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, that's gonna be key in a matchup tomorrow. I think getting the Pacers in foul trouble because we've seen they are susceptible to giving up a lot of fouls, making it a more I don't know gritty game, like physical game, getting to the foul line, and just hit free throws. That's kind of gonna be the recipe for success.
Listen, Nimhard had 4 fouls. Neesmith had 4 fouls. Like that's it. Like whoever's guarding Jalen, like
They can't
continue to go to the rack. Like don't, and we can't have and I said this to you guys before. Like there's just some periods in time, like with us during games where we just lax, like take poor shots for no reason when we don't need to. And that's why I say like the game plan has to be run the same set for the most part every time down the floor. Because then what happens is nobody knows what to do with the ball. And it's like, all right, I'm going to just jack up this shot.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to try to dribble. Like, that can't happen. And unfortunately, it sounds like we basically got to play a perfect game. But unfortunately, it's game 7. Like, it's win or go home. So that's what we are going to need.
That's what we got to do. Good stuff. All right. Moving on. Switching topics. during all this, the NBA draft lottery happened a couple days before this game six. Um, some surprising things happened. Atlanta got the number one overall pick. Uh, First time with I think that percentage of a chance of getting the number one pick. I think they had less than like a what was it like 0.13% chance of getting it, and they ended up getting the first pick. First number one pick they've ever had as a franchise. So shout outs to them. Pat, I'm I know you saw, a lot of like what went on. What were your thoughts of the draft lottery? Any surprises pop out to you?
So obviously the Atlanta Hawks are set up for success. If they do this the right way, they are set up for success. So obviously Trae Young and Dejounte Murray, they are two excellent guards. There is a freak out in the draft that could be available to them at one. Hopefully they go in that direction, but we'll see. The one thing that I really like about the draft upcoming is that the Spurs have two picks in the top 10. They have picks 4 and picks 8. Obviously, we all saw what Wemby did this year. He is truly a unicorn. He is going to be capable of special things in the near future. So now they have the opportunity to surround him with some talent. Whether they go in the direction of picking two young players or trying to maybe trade one of these picks for a veteran presence to play next to him. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think it just sets them up for more success in the future. But it looks like they're looking for some guards. There's a 6'6" Serbian guard named Nikolai Topic. He sounds like he's going to be the real deal at 4. And then Rob Dillingham out of Kentucky. And then Stephen Castle out of UConn. I'm expecting them to get a wing player with a lot of athletic ability that could score the basketball. And they're also going to get a stopper. So I'm really excited to see what the Spurs do in this draft. What do you got, Sean?
Yeah, I like where you're going with that. That was a huge surprise for me. Like you just got Wemby last season, rookie of the year, could have possibly been defensive player of the year depending on who voted. And then they end up having two picks in the top 14. Like that's crazy, and they can go anywhere with that. Like they could trade that to get more picks. They could trade that for players. And I think they might, to be honest with you. But I think for me, the biggest surprise is the Atlanta Hawks getting the first pick, being that they had like the smallest percentage to get it. I'm be very. This might be a hot take, but I think they trade either Murray or Trey, and I think they trade it away to get more picks. And I think if they do it in this draft, where they'll go and try to get 2 picks in the top 14.
So you're telling me you think they're off Trae Young?
I think they are. To be honest with you, the dude's been injured the past couple seasons. Murray's legit. They've seen it even with Trae and not with Trae, without Trae. He's solid without either way. He plays. He's on the court. He's not injured a lot, and I think it's time for real. To be honest with you, I don't think with that roster they can make a big splash. I think they need to make a big move, and either go one of two ways. They can blow it up and build around Murray, get some more draft picks, or trade and try to get a big name. And I don't know who that is, but I think that's one of the two ways that the Hawks go. But that was the surprise for me. Like them getting the first pick, they have a lot of flexibility to kind of like move around, and they have the pieces to trade away to get more picks. So I think for me that was like the biggest surprise. Chris, your thoughts?
I don't know if I've ever seen. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever seen an organization who had the first pick in the NBA draft and then traded away for more picks. I could be wrong. I'd have to use the Google machine to find out. But yeah, that was definitely one big surprise. Made it really entertaining to watch. I think I'm kind of on the Spurs train of like them having two basically top 10 picks in this draft. We all have been singing the praises of Wimby, how advanced he is at the age that he's at the size that he's at. And yeah, now the Spurs really get a chance to like add some complementary pieces. Maybe even get a second star out of the mix to pair up with Wimby that could propel them into like the next 10 15 years of dominance in the West. You never know. But I think they got a lot of help from the ping pong balls this lottery. I was also looking at Portland too. Portland got two first round picks in the top like 15. So they have an interesting direction they could go. They have Anthony Simons, who is kind of there. He's might not necessarily like there. I kind of put him at like a similar level to like a Scotty Barnes. Like they have a very similar type of game. They got Anton there. What's his name that they got from Phoenix? The center. I'm gapping.
Alex Lynn?
No. They traded from Phoenix to Portland. Well, here, I'll bring it up.
Use the Google machine. Machine.
DeAndre Anton.
Yeah, DeAndre
Ayton, yeah. So they got Aiden there. He's still like, under 20, 25, 26, somewhere in that range. So he's still in the prime of his career. So they could potentially make some moves. There's a lot of, high quality players in this draft. So they could potentially make some noise in the West. The only thing this lottery made me like really look at and be like, yo, the Western Conference is still like the dominant conference in the NBA. Like all of the seemingly best players or best up and coming players are all in the West. Like, whether it be Shea in Oklahoma City, Luka's still relatively young, you got Booker still in the West, so it's just a lot of guys that like can potentially make that next jump. So I think the future as far as like the star power coming into the league is definitely like in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm with you on that Trailblazers, man. That was the other thing I was gonna say that I'm super excited to see what they do with it because they had the two top picks in the top 14. I think they need a shooter. I think they go get. I think they should go get that guard from Tennessee. I don't want to butcher his name, but is it Nicked? But the dude, he floats around the floor off the ball. They need somebody like that, and obviously we know they already have Scoot, which he led all rookies in assists. If you can get him a guy that can run the floor and hit the threes and play some defense,
you got something.
They could surprise some people, right? They could surprise some people. Yeah. I'm just saying. And he's a bigger guard too. He's 6'6". So 6'6" guard that can shoot the three. That's tough. Just saying. So I think they can do definitely do some big things in regards to having a solid core.
Between the Blazers and the Spurs right now, they're not even at the upper echelon of the Western Conference, and we're talking about the next 5 years, them being two of the best teams perhaps because of where they're at right now. Go ahead, Sean, continue.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was just going to say that's it. Like, they got a young core, and they're in the West, which is a little bit tough, but like, as we always see in an NBA, like the West is tough, top to bottom for the most part, right? But the other thing I was gonna say is I am curious. I want to see where Rob Dillingham lands, the guard out of Kentucky. He does remind me of Jalen Brunson, like a smaller guard that can score and handle the rock. Listen. I wouldn't mind us going to get him, depending on what happens with us in the offseason. Trading up to get him because he could be like a top like 10 to 15 pick. Just saying, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? We have guard, we have DiVincenzo, we have Jalen. We got McBride now. Could we add another guard into that mix? I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe.
honestly, if I'm the Knicks, I'm looking for a wing. I'm looking for someone that's 6'6" and up. Like anybody that can come in, play defense, guard multiple positions, and shoots the ball relatively well. Because we've seen our issue isn't at the guard spot. Our issue is at the three and the four. Like we don't have athleticism, we don't have length, we don't have size. Like we just don't have those things. And we don't know what Randall coming back next year. Yes, it should help with a lot of that. OG, we've seen. Yes, he is a phenomenal defensive player. He's a phenomenal player just in general, but his consistency as far as being on the court, we've seen this season is just not there. So we need more reinforcements, to shore up like the forward spot. Yeah, and just having more versatile players that can play D, guard multiple positions. Those are the types of players that Tibbs really gravitates towards. So that's what I think we need to do, focusing on the draft.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm gonna disagree with you. And I say that because OG is in the last year of his contract.
Yeah, we gotta pay him.
And I'm perfectly fine with paying him. And I get you the inconsistencies of what it's been this year, but he was injured. We knew about this injury when we traded for him. So I don't think we traded for him with the expectation that we weren't going to sign him long term. Like if we sign him long term and pay him, I think that solves what you just said. Like he would be that guy, which I think he can be that guy that can be the bigger forward that can guard the best player on the other team. I worry, and I've said this to you both before. Like my worry is with Jalen being the guy. He's our guy, but he can never. When he takes a break, we have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you bring in a guy, and this was why we like Quickly, right? He could be that point guard off the bench that could allow Jalen to get a break.
Right.
But in this case, just like how think about Indiana, right? Halliburton can take a break because TJ can come off the bench and give that spark.
Mm-hmm.
But with us, we it's a worry. When Brunson comes off the court, it's like hold your breath, not for too long, right? So if we go get that other guard that can be that guard, like DiVincenzo's not a point guard, like McBride, yeah, but he's not a I can handle the rock, run the screen, like he can't run the offense. So if we bring in a young guy that we can mold behind Jalen and be similar to Jalen, I think that's the route, and that's why I say I disagree in the sense of I think we are going to re-sign an OG, and again to your point, the mystery would be what's going to happen with Randall.
Thank you, Sean. That's a perfect segue to what I was going to say. So I totally agree with you. We need that second point guard that could actually handle the rock and get it past half court with a full court press. We've been having a tough time this series with it, and Brunson is a great point guard. So the passer has to be good, the guard has to be good, and then we have to get it past half court. So we need somebody else like that. But you were just talking about Randall. So I would expect the offense next year, maybe Deuce to bring it up, and then the offense to flow through Randall, and all the offensive plays to run through Randall. So he'd be controlling the ball a ton, rather than, let's say, a point guard controlling the ball a ton. So that's the only reason that I think Randall will still be really effective next year and be able to control the rock. But one thing that makes me really uncomfortable with Julius is a lot of turnovers. He could score, he could rebound, he does everything, but sometimes he gets a little loose with the ball and can lead to a lot of turnovers. So that's my only concern, and that's why I think we need a legit backup point guard.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your points of like needing to have someone that can also like facilitate the offense so that Jalen can get a rest. But I mean, if we remember last season, or even like the past previous seasons, Randall has been like the primary offensive player on the Knicks for the last like 4 seasons outside of Jalen Brunson. The man averages close to 25 points a game, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. So he's not just like rebounding and scoring points. He's also facilitating out of double teams. He's facilitating from the low block. So I think even if we don't go backup point guard and we just rock with, Deuce as the backup point guard, To your point, Pat, having him bring the ball up, get it to Randall, and then running everything through Randall, especially in those moments when Jalen goes off the bench, because that's primarily what we don't have. We don't have somebody that can create for other players while Jalen is on the bench. So we that's when we kind of like give up these runs where we just don't have any offense. Randall will solve those issues because now you have your secondary option and you can kind of like balance the minutes to where like Randall has his moments where he's kind of running things. Jalen, personally, I want Jalen with the ball in his hand fourth quarter when game is on the line. So we have our closer. And if we kind of just like stagger those minutes that way so that we have Jalen fresh for when it's money time and we have Randall do the heavy lifting throughout the game, I think we'll be solid. And just getting those ancillary pieces because we're seeing now that we don't have enough of a punch when it comes down to these late moments in games. And we're getting outscored and we're getting outpaced because, we talked about it basically, OG not being there. So having those extra pieces where we can kind of fill somebody in to take over like some of that burden of the defense, I think that's the direction we should go. But, we could do both. We could pick up somebody in the offseason. We could draft a guy. So, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I think that we are set to have a really good future. I think depending on how things go this year, right? Like it's not over. Like we're gonna win games.
Yeah, we're still in it,
and we're gonna go beat the Celtics too because Porzingis is injured. But future-wise, like again, yes, Randall's gonna come back, and the offense can go through him, kind of like how look at how we use Hartenstein now. Like Hartenstein had like 6+ assists yesterday, but that's it. Like if Randall can be that guy, that high screen and roll guy that can get the ball then hand it off, like that would be perfect. But the reason I said I disagree with what you said about going draft-wise and getting a guy that can be a forward that can guard, then we'd be relying on a young guy to come in and be that guy because I don't see that in the draft right now, especially where we sit. Like what we're
25, I think, 24, somewhere in there.
I think we have 24, 25, and 38. So we're not going to get that guy at that point. We're not going to get a guy that's going to come in and be OG. So that's why I said like we're gonna re-sign OG, or we have to. I think we have to re-sign him, and then run the offense through Randall. But again, the missing pieces again. If Brunson needs to come off the floor, we do not have a replacement for that. And I think that's where the glaring issue in my mind is like that has to be somebody because it can't be. It's not McBride right now. It's not DiVincenzo, and obviously Hart is hard like that we have him. But we're missing that one, like, guard, like, Quickly. Like, we talked about that, how we didn't like that trade because Quickly was that guy that come off the bench, run the offense for you, and give Brunson a break. And we don't have that right now. So, I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. But I think for the draft, like, I could see us making a move to move up, depending on how things go.
Yeah, I mean, we got the picks. Pat, any final thoughts on any of this stuff? Knicks draft and potential future?
So the Knicks, just like you guys said, I think we're in a really good spot. I think it's kind of like tweaking now rather than complete roster overhaul stuff, which is always a nice position. We have a lot of decisions to make at the end of the year. OG, Hartenstein, I believe, will be a free agent. We got to figure out what we're going to do in the draft. One thing about the draft that I did want to touch on that I did not like, I am tired of the Bronny James coverage. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. So the guy was the 98th ranked prospect, had a great combine. Credit to you, absolutely, Bronny, great job. But it moved him up to the 54th prospect overall. Why is the 54th prospect overall on the front page of ESPN NBA draft? It doesn't make any sense. I want to hear about the number 1, number 2, number 3 picks this year. I barely know anything about any of them except for Donovan Clingan because all I'm hearing about is Bronny James. Mm-hmm. I'm just really tired of it, and I want to hear about all the other superstars and up-and-comers in the NBA rather than the old LeBron James stuff. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. The only reason this is getting coverage is because his name is LeBron James Jr., like Bronny James. Outside of that, like, sure, he might be a good talent. He's not You know, I don't think he's like rosterable at this point. Um, people forget he had like a cardiac like issue like earlier in this season where he had to basically had a heart attack on the court. So, you know, aside from that, I don't think his skill set propels him into like that top, what is it, 60 players or 64 players. So what's the point then? You're just gonna go enter the draft, not get drafted, then try to go the free agent route, maybe get thrusted into the G League. Like, there's no point. If the NBA is your goal, and like you want to play and you want to play with your dad potentially somewhere, the next couple of years, however long LeBron decides to keep playing, go back to school, get another full season at USC, ball out, possibly make a tournament, and then try again in a year. That way, you'll have like a full season where people have like seen your skills and have and it gives you another year under a system in college to kind of grow your game. So, but yeah, I agree with you, Pat. There's no reason we should be talking about this kid right now outside of his name.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're all on the same page. It's the hype. It's what's again. We think about marketing, and we think about it's a business and it's entertainment, and what's going to get people looking at it. What's going to get your eyes coming to it. Like the other day, I saw a thing about the Indiana Fever. Their game, they had more fans or more viewers than the Pacers have had all playoffs. And I don't think it's because the Pacers are not good. I just think that the media is doing a good job of putting it in front of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with James. To your point, Pat, like he is in front, and to your point, that's the only thing you see. So it's like, all right, it's all about him, right? But there's definitely some guys in this draft that should be talked about, like what's his name, Alex Sarr. He's going to be solid. And I think the Hawks pick him with the first pick, but yeah, I think there's definitely some guys in the draft that deserve to be talked about, but unfortunately, just the way business works, James is going to be front page because of that, because of his name, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Very interesting. All right.
So, real quick, hypothetical. Sorry, Chris. So he doesn't get drafted. He's a sure thing going to sign with LeBron's team, right?
If he decides if he doesn't get drafted, I don't know how LeBron just will convince the Lakers to like sign him, but yeah, more than likely.
I think it. I don't know. I think he gets drafted because of his name, but I think it's late. I think it's really late.
Mm-hmm.
Or it also depends on what LeBron does. Obviously, I think LeBron's going to opt out of his contract and then make a decision whether the Lakers are just going to say, all right, what kind of contract do you want to end your career, or does he go somewhere else to kind of be with Bronny? Like, it could go either way. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he doesn't get drafted. To be honest with you, I think he gets drafted because of his name.
Here's the.
He's not a talented basketball player. Let me just be clear there.
Yeah.
People that are talked about, people that go to the NBA, they are top echelon players. Like, let's just be clear there. Like,
and Bronny is a good player. Yeah.
He's a good basketball player. Like, better than whatever we can kind of imagine, because he is being talked about, yes, because of his name, but he is a good basketball player. But again, I think he does get drafted because his name, and he will be in the NBA.
Here's the magical Disney storyline of the NBA. Bronny James gets drafted second round by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and LeBron James opts out of his contract with the Lakers, returns to Cleveland. Full circle.
In other news.
Full circle. Full circle. Full circle.
Not get LeBron back in the East again.
LeBron in the East again. Yeah, we don't need that.
I think once we get closer to the draft, we can kind of talk about where people get drafted and what we're looking for. But yeah, good stuff so far.
All right, transition. MLB. We're a quarter of the way through the season. What are some of your likes? What are some of your dislikes? Pat, lead us off.
Okay, so I'll start off with my likes, and I like that the Texas teams are struggling. It is really fun to see. The Texas Rangers, who are powerhouse of Major League Baseball, one of the best lineups in baseball, are meager 500 right now. They're having a lot of pitching struggles. I think they'll probably figure it out just because their lineup's a little too good to be 500 all year. But more importantly, the Houston Astros are really, really struggling right now, and that makes me super happy. They've been spanked around a little bit by the Yankees so far this year. They are 6-14 in their last 20 games, which is really, really bad. Their bullpen is blowing games left and right. They're dealing with a lot of pitching struggles, which unfortunately they're dealing with a lot of pitching injuries. So that will probably get better with Valdez, McCullers, and Garcia coming back. But when? And are they going to be in too much of a hole already to climb out? So they'll be really interesting to watch and see if they'll be able to climb their way back into a playoff position. What do you got, Sean?
Come on, you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going. We're going with the best team in baseball. What did I say to y'all at the beginning of the season? I said, on paper we look good, but the Yankees are going to be a really good team. And yes, we are the best team in baseball. Record-wise, yeah, the Phillies are doing great, which I'm going to speak on that later. But we look great. And you know what? The biggest thing I'm super, super excited about is that the captain is back. The captain is back. Like, listen, I'm going to throw some stats at you. In March, Aaron Judge was batting 125. His on-base percentage was 211. Slugging 188. And his OPS was 399. Ugh, yuck. But I kept saying to a friend of mine, man, imagine with Juan Soto batting in front of him, Juan Soto was killing it early in the season. I'm like, just wait till Judge finds it. And it's over when it happens. And he has found it. So in May, and we could just put the quotations here, since he's been ejected for the first time, I don't know if y'all remember, he was ejected for the first time ever. In May, he's batting 408. His on-base percentage is 547. He's slugging almost 1,000. His OPS is 1506. Yeah, he's back. He said, "Oh, y'all want to talk smack? The captain is here. He is him." Smacked a home run last night with a G bomb with it. But yeah, the Yankees are back. I'm super excited about where we're at. Like, I had high hopes, and I'm excited that we're in first place in our division. We're second best record in the majors. But on top of that, like, outside of Judge, like, just think about this. We're raking right now, right? We have top 5 average in baseball, top 5 on base percentage, top 5 slugging percentage, top 5 OPS, top 5 home runs hit, top 5 walks. We talk about patience, right? We've been talking about, like, as long as we can be patient behind the plate and not strike out all the time, we're gonna be a good baseball team. We're in top 5 in walks, top 5 in RBIs, top 5 in runs. And guess what? Like I said, strikeouts, we're bottom 10. Because that's not normal. Normally, we're in the top 10 strikeouts, right? Because you're striking out all the time. So I'm loving that piece of it. And then, yeah, the Phillies they're scary.
Listen.
The Phillies are scary right now.
Okay? Listen, that's going to be mine.
Before you jump in, now, I hear you. But before you jump in, 2 things that stand out about the Phillies. And it has nothing to do with Bryce Harper, which is crazy because he is the best player on that team, right? Mm-hmm. Zach Wheeler is a stud. He's 5-3. Yeah, record-wise doesn't tell a story, but ERA is 2.52. He's second in the majors in strikeouts. His WHIP is under 1. His batting average against, they're batting 180. It's crazy. And then Alex Bohm, where the hell did he come from?
Oh, he's been there. He's been there. He's been there.
I know, but he is raking. He's first in the majors in doubles. He's 4th in hits, 3rd in RBIs. He's 7th in batting average. Dude, he's top 10 in OPS. Like, dude's a stud, and he's not even the best player on the team. So, and then you think about Trey Turner. Like, he's hurt right now, but he's top 10 batting average. Like the Phillies are. I'm afraid. I'm glad they're in the NL. Be honest with you, I'm glad. And any of our friends that either listen to this or we have a lot of friends that are Phillies fans. I hate to say this, but the Phillies are scary.
The Phillies are coming. They are coming. Be afraid.
So
be very
go
afraid.
ahead, Chris. That's what I like so far.
Listen,
I
this is public knowledge. I am not the baseball aficionado on this podcast. I defer to both of you. However, being that I am a Philadelphia resident and a lot of people I know are Phillies fans, that is the story of the quarter of the season. Listen, Sean, you talk about Yankees being the best team in baseball. You forgot that the actual best team in baseball record-wise are the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay? A lot of the stats that you threw out there, they're top 5 in batting average. They're top 5 in home runs. They were the first team in the major league to reach 20 wins. Okay? They have the best on-base percentage. They have their 4th in stolen bases. And they addressed a lot of the problems that they had last season. One was their pitching. You touched on it. They're striking teams out. Okay? And secondly was getting on base. Not going for the home run every time and getting, runs scored. Alex Braum is having probably his best year career-wise that he's had. And he's still very young. I think he's under 25, 26 years old. And then we're not even talking about Bryce Harper, who's leading the team in home runs. Okay, he's having a resurgence this season after being kind of nicked up last season. So, if we're gonna be real, the NL is running through Philadelphia right now. Okay, so I don't see anybody else kind of like matching up with the Phillies right now, and as long as the bats kind of like don't cool off, I could see them definitely getting back to where they were 2 seasons ago, which was in the World Series. But anyway, what are some things you're not liking?
Well, you guys led me perfectly because the thing I don't like is that the Philadelphia Phillies are the best team in baseball right now. Unfortunately, the Phillies have the best record. They are a whopping 15-6 on the road, which is ridiculous. Chris, there's one other team out west that's going to be pretty good called the Dodgers. Their pitching and their lineup is awfully good, so we'll see
I don't know.
if they get together.
I don't know these things. Okay, I don't know. Sure.
The Phillies absolutely have it all going on right now. You guys touched on all the major points. Turner hitting .343, one of the best shortstop in baseball. He can absolutely rake. Harper and Schwarber, 10 and 9 home runs, respectively. In a year where home runs are down, they're still doing their thing. Alec Baum, on-base percentage of almost 400. He's, second or third in the major leagues with 56 RBIs. We're at the quarter mark of the season. He has 56 RBIs. That's absurd. That's really good. Wheeler and Nola are both studs, but one guy we got to talk about, Ranger Suarez, is 8-0. He's 8-0 with an ERA of 1.37. That is ridiculous. The Phillies are killing it right now, and I believe that they are the most serious threat to the Yankees' World Series hopes. And I am pissed off about it because I went to college down by Philadelphia. I am not a big fan of those fans. The Eagles stink. I hate the Phillies. All right, go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
No, keep it going. Listen, I'm going to make and to counter the whole Phillies are the best team in baseball. Here, I'm going to throw a stat out there for you. 2 stats. The Phillies are 1-2 against teams over 500. 1-2. Right?
Only 3 games.
See, I love that.
It's only 3 games.
The Yankees are 15-7 against teams over 500. So the Phillies have not been playing over 500 teams.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Listen, let me just. I don't want to take away from that, but the reason I say we're the best team in baseball is because we're 15-7 against teams over 500. We're beating good teams. And I'm not saying, I'm not taking away from the Phillies, but that's why I say the Yankees are the best team in baseball. And they're only 1 game.
The reason that stat is kind of not as accurate as you're making it seem is because it's a quarter of the way through the season. Okay, we'll have this conversation again, midsummer, pushing into August, late in the season, and then give me the stat again of how many above 500 teams the Yankees have beaten. And I don't even watch all the baseball games, and and I know that much. You're muted, by the way.
We'll do another. My bad. We'll do another quarterly review. It's okay. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out the numbers.
Okay.
I'm just saying. They were part of my good. I'm scared of them. But again, the Yankees are the best team in baseball for the reasons I say. But again, that could change. We'll see. We'll see where at the halfway mark. We'll see where we land. I wouldn't say don't like. But I said earlier in the year, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with the Blue Jays. Like, they suck. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, they suck. Vlad Guerrero's batting .268. I hate George Springer because obviously we know the ties to the Astros. He's batting .196. Bichette's batting .221. They are atrocious. Like, they are not good.
Terrible.
I thought they were going to be good. Like, I thought they were going to be a good team because on paper they were going to be good. Everyone was hyping them up. I even said they could be like that surprise team that we're going to have to compete with in the division, which that could change. Obviously, we're reacting based on the first quarter of the season, but yeah, they just don't look good. And what's his name, Manoah? He's bad, and he was talking smack all the time, and he's just bad, really bad. So I don't know what they're going to do, but it just doesn't look good in their future. The other thing that I'm just not impressed with, the same thing, like the Mets. Crosstown rivals, like they look bad too. Like I don't get it. Like I don't understand. Like again, we talk about on paper versus actual results. Like on paper, the Mets are look like a good team, but they're not good. Francisco Lindor's batting under 200, and he's supposed to, I love Francisco Lindor. He's my guy. I would have loved for us to go get him, and I said this before. I would have loved to go get him when we had the opportunity, but like I don't know what it is. I just don't get it. But both those teams just not impressed. They're not looking good right now. Something needs to change, and I don't know what that looks like, but that's my thoughts. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much bad, but yeah, when you have, I think a lot of teams are having like slow starts for whatever reason. Yeah, again, it is the quarter way through the seasons. Uh, Blue Jays hype, kind of in the toilet, in my opinion. Mets being bad, I think that only really helps the Phillies. So, um, and not to get back to the Phillies, but the fact that like the NL just as a whole looks like they're down, kind of says a lot. To your stat earlier, Sean, about the Phillies playing sub 500 teams and just dominating. So, I don't know. Maybe once it warms up in June, July, things will pick up and we can have this conversation again. But yeah, I think that's something that I would point to is like just the slow starts for a lot of teams that we thought would be like in the mix by like this point in the season. Pat, what do you got?
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. Just some teams underperforming, which you just didn't expect. But at the same time, we have to give credit to where credit's due. Like teams like the Brewers are playing extremely well. The Cubs are playing well. Um, the Royals are 8 games above 500. That never happens. So it's nice to see a little bit of differentiation in Major League Baseball. Some of the teams that were not used to succeeding are winning a little bit. The Oakland A's are starting to play a little bit better baseball. Last year was just embarrassing. So I'm just happy to see that there's just that everything's starting to level off a little bit. That basically the real crap teams are starting to reach a mediocre level, and maybe some of the really good teams are starting to come back down to earth. So I'm just excited to see what happens this season because I think the Yanks and the Phils are in great positions.
Listen, I love that you said it because that was going to be my last point that I was going to make. I told y'all when we were doing our World Series favorites and sleepers, who did I say was going to surprise people? The Royals.
You did.
The Royals. What? They're 27-19. Come on. What are we talking about here?
Check the tape.
Just saying. But it's early. To your point, it's early. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they're hot right now. They're playing good baseball. Just saying. I hope we put the money on that bet that I said to put it on.
My last thought on baseball stuff. Worst team in the league. Pat, go.
I think it's the White Sox. I really do. I just don't see anything good happening over there. Every time I check their scores, they're barely scoring any runs. I just don't think it's watchable baseball right now. So unfortunately, they kind of suck. Who you got, Sean?
Yeah, I could agree. I could understand that point. They're bad. They are a really bad team. They're the worst team in the AL. But I'd probably go to the NL with the Marlins. The Marlins is bad. That's like minor league baseball team playing in the majors right now. Like they're just not good at all. And you know what I love about it? Derek Jeter had a part of that. Just saying, he ruined it all. But yeah, they're bad. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Colorado Rockies are pretty atrocious, and it sucks because I love Colorado. I love Denver. Denver is probably my favorite, second or third favorite city. But yeah, they can't hit. They don't get on base. The fielding is terrible. Yeah, it's bad all around. Baseball
Yeah,
hot.
it's a shame. It's a shame. They used to be good back to the glory days when they were hitting all those home runs at Coors Field. They should really embrace that strength and try to build their team around that. But they've seemed lost for the last like 5-6 years, honestly.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, those are three bad teams, so I could agree with all three of those, to be honest with you.
All right, it's time for our favorite segment. You know it, I know it. Is it feast or is it fumble? Mr. Chino, what do you got for us today?
All right, today we're going to bring back a little thing we did earlier in the year. Let's do a little Wheel of Death.
Wheel of Death.
Huh? And no point intended, fumble. We're going to go with a little football theme to kind of throw a little wrench in the monkey wrench in here. So we're going to take all 32 teams in the NFL, and we're going to go in order, which we can decide the order right now. You're going to pick a quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. So you're going to create yourself a little flag football 5-on-5 team. Okay?
Okay.
So, I know last time we did this, Pat went first. So, I'm going to flip a coin between me and Kris. So this will be Kris, this will be me. Okay? Ready?
Let's go.
So you will go first, and then Pat will do it between me and you. Drop my coin. Pat, me, we'll flip it. Let's see who goes second. Pat, go second. All right. So that's our draft order. Remember, we're in 32 teams, no repeat players, quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end.
All right, let's do it.
We ready?
We ready.
Okay. No? Yeah, Kris is sports.
No.
All right.
No.
Kris is up first. You ready?
Share your screen.
Oh, that's what I just asked that, man.
I said share your screen.
Just asked if we're sharing screens here.
Yeah, share your screen.
All right, hold on. Stay tuned.
Share your screen.
Hold on. All right, let me share my screen. Share my screen so there's no thoughts of me cheating or anything of that nature.
Yeah, the whole point of the Wheel of Death is to see the wheel.
To see the death wheel. All right, hold on. It's a little frozen here. Can y'all see my screen? No? No? All right, great.
It's all right.
Here we go. It's loading. Do we have some background music?
All this is going to get cut out for sure.
All right. So for the sake of respect of not cheating or anything, we are going to shuffle 3 times since there's 3 of us. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, here we go. Kris with the first pick in the Feast or Fumble flag football draft. You got the Arizona Cardinals.
The Arizona Cardinals. Ugh. Okay.
So where are we going here?
Oh, I'm going wide receiver. You already know. Mr. Larry Fitzgerald. That should be a no-brainer.
Kris, he's retired.
You said active players? Or all-time players?
We said active players.
I don't know who's on the damn Cardinals now. You expect me to know that?
Yes.
Who's good on their team?
All right, so I pulled their roster. We got Kyler Murray, James Conner, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson,
Rookie.
Trey McBride's not so bad at tight end.
All right. Arizona Cardinals roster.
You are on the clock.
I am on the clock. How much time do I got? I don't like any of these guys. Yeah, tight ends are pretty safe choice. Yeah, give me Trey McBride at tight end.
Okay, that's a solid pick. He's in a big year last year.
Yep.
It's a big year last year. All right, Pat. With the second pick in the Feast or Fumble draft. Pat, you got... No, don't give him the Lions. Don't give him the Lions. Don't give him the Lions. Detroit Lions.
Tough. They are a deep team.
All right, where are we going?
I gotta go. I got Gibbs, I think. I think I have to.
It's a solid pick. Okay, got the running back slot filled.
Yeah, hold on. Let me check this out. One sec.
That is not a bad pick. That is not a bad
I gotta
pick.
go Jahmyr Gibbs. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, you could have. No.
Amon Ra, of course. That was the other one. It's like it's a total coin flip.
Okay. All right, I'm up. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Have to. Let's do it. That was a quick and easy one. All right. Are we doing snake? No, we're not doing snake. I'm kidding. Kris, you're up. Here we go.
Here we go. What do I got?
Denver Broncos, please.
Cardinals again.
Are you serious?
What do you got?
Oh man.
I'm gonna do a respin on this.
You want to do a respin?
I think
We got 2 Arizona Cardinals, two
Let's ask
Detroit
the
Lions.
judges. Hold on, let's ask the judges. All right, we'll give you one last challenge here. So, do you want to use it now?
One challenge? So what? A challenge is just a reroll?
A respin. Everyone gets one respin. After deliberation, we spoke to the judges and they said it's okay if we do one respin. Okay?
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna use my respin.
Here we go.
Please be Cardinals again.
Oh, that would just be sick. That would just be sick.
All right, here we go. Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. I seemingly just have no luck when it comes to this wheel because I remember the same thing happening last time we did this. Let me look at their roster. That's crazy.
You can go Leggett. He's a rookie, but
They just got Deontay Johnson too, right?
Yeah, Deontay Johnson maybe. Okay.
What's his face still there? Adam Thielen?
Yeah, Adam Thielen is still there. Um, this is terrible. This is
You
terrible.
go Chuba. You
Yeah,
go Chuba, or
no,
you could
I'm
go
not going
quarterback.
Chuba. No, I'm not going quarter. I'm damn sure not going quarterback. Yeah, give me Deontay Johnson. Go one of my wide receivers.
Hey, hold on. Okay. All right, Pat, you're up.
Let's go.
This wheel is biased.
New Orleans Saints.
Not bad, not bad.
Hmm.
That is kind of bad.
Yeah, we're getting all of
He
like
has a running back already.
yeah.
He has a running back already.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah,
good.
that would have been the ideal place to go.
For running back,
No
sure.
regrets. No regrets.
Not great. I'll take Chris Olave.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Olave. Okay.
That's a solid.
All right.
I'm happy with that.
That's solid choice. Good stud young wide receiver. All right. Come on. No, wait me.
Oh, that's a good one.
Seahawks.
Oh,
Yeah, it is a good one. What do you take there?
Yep.
it is a good one because I could just go with the safe pick, but then yeah, where are you going? We're going there. DK, come on, got to, have to. Just
DK.
take the risk.
DK.
Take the risk here. Take the risk. All right, Chris, you're up.
All right.
Here we go.
No whammies. No whammies.
Let's go.
The Raiders.
Has to be one. I don't know. Who you got? This has to be easy. There's no other pick.
Yeah,
There's one pick.
running back. Yeah. What's your running back's name?
No, Chris.
No, don't do it.
Come on, man. There's one pick. There's no other pick here.
There's
There's a
no.
Hall of Famer on that roster.
Yeah, there's a Hall of Famer on this roster played with a Hall of Famer that's now on your team.
Oh,
There's only one
yeah.
pick here. I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to hear you say it. I'm typing it in.
Just type it in.
I'm not even going to announce it. That's how bad this is right now.
Yeah.
Damn, Chris is pretty stacked at wide receiver and tight end though. I don't like that.
Are you do you want the opportunity to announce your pick or no? Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae. Yeah, I was thinking.
Thinking, damn you, Roger. All right, Pat, you're up.
All right, let's go.
I am jealous of that. That's my guy.
This is gonna be my quarterback.
New York Giants.
This stuff.
Oh, I was about to say that's Arizona Cardinals again.
It's tough. This is a good one.
This is tough because I really like Kyle Pitts a lot. Like I think this year he's gonna take off, but I'm going with Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Kirk. Yep.
Kirk.
Guy's a stud. He's gonna take them to the playoff this year. I think they're gonna win the division.
Especially in that division, yes, sir. All right. Here we go. Come on, be nice to me. Be nice. No. Be nice to me.
Oh man, you got it one turn too early. One turn too late.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to pick a wide receiver anyway because I have two.
I know who I'd go.
I could go either way here. I can take a risk here, but you know what? We're going with the hype. I really think Brock Bowers is going to have a huge season. So I'm going with my man Brock.
That is a great call. I think he's
Going
going
with
to be
my man.
Yep.
Yes. All right, here we go. Chris is up. You got a quarterback spot. You got a running back spot.
Give me the
What are you gonna
Bills,
get here?
please.
Damn it!
No.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Take away Devontae Adams' pick. You got to get the Raiders running back now.
Oh man. I'll do Mr. Patty Mahomes.
That is horrible. That is such bad news for our teams.
All right, Pat, you're up.
Come on, give me the Chiefs.
Give him the Raiders. Give him the Raiders. Give him the Raiders. Give him the Raiders.
Pittsburgh. Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go here.
This is hard.
This is hard.
Because I like
You
that
actually,
Waterman, but I don't think he's that much of an impact, really. I got to go with George Pickens, I think. I think I have to.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't really. That's it.
Man, your guys' teams are way better than mine this time. Fuck.
I was gonna say probably would. Yeah, if you would have got the Raiders, maybe you would have been in a better spot. But
Yeah.
all right, here we go. I need a quarterback. 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 No, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Wow. Remember, you guys got your re-rolls too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use that. 'Cause I am not. Hell, fucking.
Yo,
We're not going Murray.
this wheel really loves Arizona for some reason.
Arizona. Yeah, I could. Because I could go James Conner though. No, we're rolling the dice. Come on, give me something better than this. Give me something. I was low key about to remove it. No, don't do that. We're gonna have to go. I'm fine with it. That's fine.
LA?
That's it. Let's go.
Again with the Raiders. Okay.
What's going on? Don't we get the Raiders and the Cardinals so much?
Let's go. I'm with it. I'm with it. Obviously, I'm not going quarterback there. So.
Yeah, no.
All right, Chris, you're up.
Let's go, Chris.
One spot left.
All
Running
right.
back.
One apiece.
Running back.
New York Jets.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's an easy one. That is a good one.
Jacksonville. Oh gosh.
Chris is stacked.
Yeah. I got some choices. I gotta go running back there, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Mr. ATM.
ETN.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pat, tight end.
All right, let's go.
Here we go.
Go Chiefs. 49ers.
Dallas Cowboys. Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
Respin. I don't want Ferguson. Respin.
I was gonna say, you could have picked Zeke, but
I have Gibbs. I'm only missing tight ends.
tight end. Yeah, no, Ferguson. My bad. That's my bad.
He's got a great year.
He's good. He's good, but you can take the respin.
Yeah.
Respin.
Come on.
Down. Cleveland. That's a good. Good.
Wow.
Njoku.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Njoku. All day.
Njoku.
Mm.
That's nice. Okay. I'm a little happier now. I'm okay.
That's okay. I like it. All right, I need a quarterback. Lord Jesus.
Come on, Giants.
I only want look.
Or Bears.
Cardinals.
Oh, Cardinals again. This wheel loves the Cardinals.
That's bad.
Take Kyler.
That's bad.
Did you use your respin?
Yes.
Kyler it is.
Because I used the respin to get rid of the Cardinals.
The wheel is telling you. Look, this wheel is telling us that the Cardinals are actually going to have a really good season this year. So we should just pick up all of their players. Cardinals and the Raiders are clearly going to have the best seasons. That might even be the Super Bowl right there.
is very frustrating. All right, we're gonna do a recap. Okay, so first team is Chris with Mahomes, ETN, Deontay Johnson, Devontae Adams, Trey McBride. Then Pat coming in with Kirk, Gibbs, Olave, Pickens, Njoku. And then rounding out the third team is Murray, Zamir, Amon, DK, and Brock. All right. Who you feasting and fumbling on? Who wants to go first?
All right. Let's see. You know what, Pat? I'll let you go first.
Okay, I'll do this. So unfortunately, I'm feasting on Chris's team. I think Chris's team is excellent. This is a really good fantasy football team. If I got these guys on my squad, I'd be very happy going into the season. I think me and Sean are going to be neck and neck in second and third place. I think his wide receivers are just quite a bit better than mine. So it really comes down to if we were going to play with an offensive line or not, because I think Gibbs is a special talent. But I think Chris is quite a bit better than the two of us. So I'm feasting on his team and I'm fumbling on mine. What do you got?
Oh yeah, I'm feasting on my team all day. We're talking about, Mr. Patty Mahomes. Like, I think that in itself is like good enough reason to say I'm gonna win. I'm gonna smoke y'all. Like, I'm gonna smoke y'all like a pack of Newports. You know, and then having Devontae, like, that's just like, that is like the most Hall of Fame type of connection that you could have with a wide receiver, basically. So, like, not only having the best wide receiver, but having the best quarterback as well to throw it. I mean, yeah, I'm feasting all day. Fumbling on your teams.
Take a deep breath here.
Come on.
I feel like there's
Say
I
it.
agree with both of you.
Say it.
You have the best team here.
Say it.
Period. Like, you got Patty. You could get rid of everyone just because you have Patty and Devontae Adams. It's just, wow, like, there's no way. There's no stopping that. But I'm just say this, and I'm being a little butthurt, but we're gonna put some asterisks on this because technically you should have had the Cardinals.
What? We all agreed. We all agreed to re-roll.
And the other asterisk I'm gonna put on this is you were literally about to pick the Raiders running back over Devontae Adams.
I was.
But we helped you.
Because the Raiders have been so historically bad. I don't know who's on that team. I don't know who's on half of these teams. I'm at least honest enough to keep it real and say I don't know none of these players.
Coming for your throat.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine because Devontae Adams is top 5 wide receivers, arguably best wide receiver in the NFL, and you don't know that. That's nothing to do with our team because statistically, even though he's on our team, he's had 2 of his best seasons ever. But that's why I say asterisk. But fine, Chris, you won. Awesome job, feasting on your team because it's quarterback wide receiver combo is just ridiculous, and you can stretch the field with Devontae. You can stretch the field with Deontay or Devontae running back wise. You can catch out of the backfield and run the ball, and then Trey McBride is just a PPR monster.
Yep, so, I would definitely win our fantasy league if that was my team. A lot. That was fun. Wheel of Death is always a good time. Because it's biased as hell and always gives us like the worst possible picks ever. Like, I was actually hoping that I could get to the Jets because I really wanted, Breece Hall as my running back, but whatever.
I wanted you guys to get the Giants just so you had to pick one.
Oh, that's a good
call. You know what? I'm at a third asterisk and then we can move on. Your first pick was Larry Fitzgerald. You should be automatically lost.
Listen. If we did all time teams and the Arizona Cardinals came up how many times? 6 times. All time Arizona Cardinal team. Who would it be?
All time. What?
Larry, Anquan.
Oh, wide receiver. Yeah, it's Larry Fitzgerald. Period. Yeah. I thought you meant quarterback. I was going to say, well, Jake Plummer?
Nah, Kurt Warner.
Or, okay, Kurt Warner. Jake, yeah, it would be Kurt Warner.
Carson Palmer take him somewhere too?
Carson, maybe.
Yeah.
Running back for them.
It'd be funny if we took the same teams we got and had to pick all-time players. That'd be interesting.
All-time Raiders, Tim Brown.
Wide receivers?
Wide receiver, yeah. Jerry?
The greatest wide
Jerry?
receiver of all time, Jerry Rice?
Jerry? Okay.
Yeah.
All-time running back
That was
from
a
the
good season.
Lions. Pretty good one, Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's interesting.
I'd have Mike Vick and Barry Sanders on my team.
Mike Vick and Barry Sanders. And Pat would be first. Pat would be first. I'd be like, nah. We just go.
You'd have to go Saints wide receiver.
Uh,
Who you going there?
Marquise Colston.
No, I don't know. I might go Joe Horn.
Joe Horn.
No, I will not.
Nah, you go it. Michael Thomas or Marquise Colston.
Yeah, one of those two.
You could even have done quarterback from the Saints and done Drew Brees.
Oh, good point.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
If you do Drew Brees, and then if you did running back for Atlanta, you could have done Warwick Dunn, or what was the other one they had? They had somebody else that was good.
It'd be Warwick Dunn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be Warwick. Or Bijan.
Bijan.
Yeah, but we're talking all time.
Yeah.
All time, you could have won Dirty Bird. Jamal Anderson.
Yeah, Jamal Anderson. That would have been a good one too.
Yeah. Jimmy Graham was the Saints tight end.
Jimmy Graham could have went Jimmy Graham. Yep. If you go Jimmy Graham, Barry Sanders, Michael Vick, I think that's yeah. Pat wins. Pat wins at that point.
You would have had wide receiver instead of Pickens. You could have went. Antonio Brown.
Ooh. So you could have went Detroit Megatron at wide receiver.
Ooh. Man, we're gonna have to do this one too.
We have to do all time NFL, because that's a much more difficult choices.
The only problem with this is so my team would be excellent, but your team would still be like just as good, Chris. Like seriously, like two definite Hall of Famers in your lineup right now. ATN is a special running back. It would be really close. And Mahomes, one of the best already of all time.
I think if we still did all time, I would still pick Mahomes at quarterback. I mean, arguably the only other player that I would pick, maybe Tony Gonzalez, maybe Priest Holmes.
Well, we're talking in hypothetical. If you had to pick the same position with that team, you could. Yes, I'd pick Mahomes every time, but you could also pick Joe Montana. FY.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, that was like later in his career, but yeah, for sure, I could go Joe Montana.
But that's not matter. We're talking about Joe Montana.
We are talking Joe Montana.
Top 5 quarterbacks of all time. But yeah, we can do that again. I like that.
We can definitely do feast or fumble, all-time NFL team. Roll it up. Funny thing is, the wheel is gonna give us all like freaking teams that like suck. All-time Jacksonville Jaguars.
Or Houston Texans.
All-time Houston Texans.
David Carr, the first pick.
Yeah.
Kidding.
All right, final thoughts, guys. Pat, what do you got? We're gonna go to our best bets.
Let's go. Already good.
So my first one, I gotta lead off with the Knicks just because they are the hot topic for us this morning. I don't know if you guys saw this quote from Dante D this morning, but he said, "Game 7's at the Garden. This is why you sign with the New York Knicks." So because of this, I'm taking Dante's overs. Right now it's set at 17.5 points and 3.5 3-pointers. I'm going to take both of those individually and as a parlay. I think I'm going to hit them both. My second lock of the day, today I have the Yanks run line, -1.5, and Luis Gil to have at least 5 strikeouts. I believe the the White Sox, and I just mentioned
Yeah.
they're one of the worst teams in baseball. Luis Gil is one of the better young pitchers in baseball, and he has electric stuff. I'm expecting him to have maybe 6 or 7 strikeouts, maybe more, just because the White Sox are not playing good baseball, and he's playing extremely well. Finally, I got one more, and this one's a little bit of a lottery ticket, just because of what he's going through right now. Our guy Scotty Scheffler got arrested yesterday morning trying to get to the golf tournament. There was a misunderstanding in traffic, and basically he tried to go around traffic to get into the golf tournament. A cop jumped onto his car, and then he got arrested, got booked, and then he had to go to the police station, showed up to the golf course an hour before his tee time, still shot 5 under, guys. He's within 4 strokes of the lead. He is the best golfer on the planet right now. Just a couple of his results from the last few tournaments, starting in March. He won the Arnold Palmer. He won the Players' Championship. Tied for second at the Texas Children's Houston Open. He won the Masters. He won the RBC Heritage. And he's tied for 4th at the PGA Championship. Anytime you get Scotty Scheffler at odds like this, you have to throw a couple bucks on him. So make sure you're throwing some money on Scotty Scheffler to win this tournament.
Done.
What was the Yanks line?
The Yanks, we have the run line, so it's going to be the Yankees -1.5. And it's going to be their starting pitcher, Luis Gil, to have at least 5 strikeouts. The odds should be around +120.
All right. We got it. As always, we're going to make some money.
Money.
Mm-hmm. Good pickups. Let's go. All right. Final thoughts, fellas. Mr. Chino, what do you think? What are you looking forward to?
I'm good. I'm dialed in. Game 7. We're gonna have 2 Game 7s on Sunday too, and I think both games are gonna be electric. I know we didn't really talk about Nuggets. So Nuggets and Timberwolves are on Sunday.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. That game's gonna be electric. And I say that because there was a funny article out that Jokic, the whole 4th quarter, he didn't sit down. He literally watched the whole 4th quarter standing up as they were getting blown out. He's gonna have a huge game. I'm putting. I know you didn't mention this in your bets, but I'm putting money for him to get a triple double.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that game's going to be electric, and then obviously, Knicks Game 7 in the Garden, best basketball stadium in the on the planet. It's going to be electric. Everyone, the house is going to be packed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to both of those games. Chris, we're going to have to talk about where we're going to meet up to watch it.
Let's do it.
I would like to go out to watch it.
Let's do it. Pat,
What you got?
Yeah, just looking forward to a weekend of really, really great sports. Obviously golf, I just touched on, is on this weekend, but really, really important basketball and hockey. Today we have Game 6 of Dallas and OKC. It's been a really good series so far. I'm surprised that Dallas is playing so well, but I'm expecting them to win this series. I'm looking at Denver and Dallas and New York and the Celtics, and that's what I'm expecting to happen. I'm just really, really looking forward to tomorrow's game. Obviously, got the orange shirt on. It's the only orange I got. The Knicks need our love and support right now. Yeah, we got to give it to them. Let's go win Game 7, right? What do you got, Chris?
yeah, man, we already said it. 2 Game 7s in the NBA playoffs. Ant-Man is here. He is saying, listen, I don't care if you are the defending champs. It's my time right now. And, of course, Knicks, Garden, Game 7. It's going to be electric. Best time of year to be a basketball fan. Let's go Knicks. Knicks in 7. Bring on the Celtics. Let's go.
New York, stand up. Yankees are good. Rangers are good. Knicks good. Let's go.
Let's go. As always, like, share, subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Boost us up in the algorithm. For Mr. Chino, Patty Puts, I'm the real Kris Mac. This is Feast or Fumble, and we'll catch you on the next one.